Welcome to everybody on my presentation about how we can earn money on a mobile application. My name is Michał Jankowski and I'm solution architect, developer, also team leader working in Objectivity. Together with that, I'm building application. One of the projects that I'm right now working on is Mikado app. I will come back to this application a bit later. Together with that, I'm Microsoft MVP from Azure and also AI. You can spot me on different places in internet. I have my blog if you want to read something about the Azure or maybe mobile development. I encourage you to visit this page. Also, you will find me on the Twitter and the GitHub. In case of any questions, just send me an email and I will try to answer on your questions. Today, we'll be talking about mobile applications and why this is so fancy and what I did before to be able to talk a bit about this topic. So we can see this is like very fancy old stuff, Windows Phone, mobile devices. And this is the first platform that I built application. And on this platform, I created multiple applications. One that was very successful, it was Cursivalut. It has over 700,000 downloads on Windows Store application. If you think about the market share of this platform and number of total downloads, it looks like a huge success. At that time, for example, iTaxi have 500,000 downloads. For example, mBank something between 1 million and 5. So from my perspective, wow, it was something. It was one of the best rated application in Windows Store, and also the average score on the application was 4.6. Of course, this platform almost don't exist right now, so we should think about what we should do right now. And I think the most important thing when you're thinking about doing something is that you should consider that developing or manufacturing anything is very easy. You can write a code, you can go to China, to some factory to build some kind of device for you, and it's easy. You will find a lot of people that would like to do it for you. Definitely they will ask for some money, but the other side of the coin or the medal is that are you able to sell it? And this is like a tricky part. You will need to figure out how to do it, of course, if you want to make this application profitable. I mentioned that right now I'm working on the project named Mikado. I encourage you to visit the application. I'm happy to listen to your reviews. If you have some ideas, please write me an email. Of course, 5 stars it would be great to get from you. It would be great. This application is helping people to collect the photos from different type of the events. And right now, this is also a good example for other advice. Definitely, the people that are racing right now, when we would conduct this session face to face, I will ask to raise the hand the people who are developers, who are writing the software. And in most cases, those people, when I'm talking about this application, they're saying, we have Dropbox, we have Google Drive, we have other places where we can store and share the photos. But think about millions of users that do not know the IT stuff and they want to collect and share photos. And for that kind of people, this application is being created. What is worth to mention here, that when you are planning to build the application, think about your potential customers. Try to go out from yourself and try to think about how other people will behave, what are the needs of other people, and think about maybe not as yourself, because it is quite common that we are thinking from our perspective, do not focus on our customers. Let's think about why mobile. When we look on the market share and the numbers that are behind this market, you can see that this market is really big and it's growing. In this year, it is predicted that it will be like almost 600 billions of dollars revenue on mobile applications. Then it will be almost 200 billions of downloads, over 500,000 of app users, and this number each year is growing. You can see that it almost doubled in 2024. And for me, I don't know what you would like to achieve in the future, but I would like to get at least even a small slice of this cake and be able to be part of this revolution. And also, what is a very interesting trend on the mobile market is that the number of paying users per application is increasing. You can see in this year we are predicting that will be over 100 million, and in the next year this number will increase, or even we can say it will be almost double. So this is great possibility and opportunity for us to build an application and try to earn some money. When we are talking about the future and present, we should think about also COVID. This is something that it's not very nice for us. We are meeting right now online instead of face-to-face, but this pandemic also affected the mobile market. And you can see here that when those pandemics have been declared, there is special type of the application, special types of games that was very successful. Definitely, when we have been locked at home, we focus on social video, on activities that was building those relations with the people. So social gaming, hyperlocal social network. And when you are thinking about the next application, we should also consider those statistics, because people right now are using the application over 2 hours per day. And if we count this usage, 50% of this time is spent on some kind of social application. But for other divisions of global economics, those pandemics was not so great. If we think about travels, events, or sports, a lot of those kind of activities have been stopped or moved to online. Then we can see also that the usage of the application connected to those branches have been somehow decreased. So we should, in this situation, we should try to find the place, if we want to build something in that, some niche for us that can be successful for us. And also, maybe we should think about doing things in a bit different way that most of the people are working on it. Then when you are thinking about markets, the mobile stores, and the numbers of applications that are available in the stores sometimes can be different. It depends who is calculating the statistics and how. It's most common that there's like 5 million of those applications, and it's very interesting if you try to find the life cycle of this application. So 70% of the apps will be downloaded less than 5,000 times. Then 60% will be never updated. So you can see that from the huge number of the application, there's a lot of applications that are not living at all. They are just placed there. This is like one idea that maybe didn't hit the market, and the application have been stored in the store because the creator don't want to delete it. And definitely, if we are working on the mobile application, we don't want to be a part of this trend that nobody is using our application and nobody is downloading that. And here is the 3 steps to failure. And it's quite often that if you want to build application for fun, let's go in that way. But if you want to be profitable, you should think about making application and developing application in different way. First of all, definitely you have an idea. You are thinking your idea is the best. Nobody did it before. Everybody will be using your application. Everybody will like to pay it. Then you are very enthusiastic on this idea, and you are starting coding. Developing, it's easy. If you are a developer, you can save some cost, do it by yourself, or maybe you would like to outsource this thing by providing stocks. And later, when you are making your application available on the market, you can see that nobody is downloading the application, and you are starting thinking why it happened. And today I would like to show you how you can avoid the situation to be able to be more successful on the mobile application market. Of course, I will be just pointing some different aspects of building application, and I encourage you, if you want to be on the market, please extend your knowledge about those points. I mentioned that we need to do something in a bit different way. And you can see here how we can do it. We should start plan, develop, then monitor and promote. For me, the most important parts of this execution is the plan and promoting. when you are planning how to build application, we should think about the idea, then we should verify the idea, design it, try to hit the market as soon as possible with creating like MVP. MVP is the application that has limited numbers of features, but allows others to use it and bring a value for them. And think about business plan. In scope of the business plan, I don't want to encourage you to build like a ton of the papers that you will have every scenario, but just start doing like a simple calculation. Then developing. For me, it is the easiest part. You can do it by yourself. You can find a studio. You can outsource to different continents, to different companies. Then, when you are publishing the application, the market, you should monitor the errors. If something is, if you find some critical error, you should very fast come back to development and try to fix it as soon as possible. Then, when you are working with application, you should look at the comments, try to be active, try to support the people, and also monitor the performance, because this is those elements define the quality of application. And if you will be good in that, probably you will get better remarks from your users. And last thing, I would say the most important one is promotion. You should promote the application. And like when I was working on mobile phone, when I started my first application, I was very, I would say, developed focused person. And for me, it was like a shock. When I spent more time on promotion than development, I earn more money at that time. So you can write an articles on different blogs on your page and also on other portals, try to optimize your store description, think about your web page. You can play with price. I will come back later to that. Work on social media, think about different events, event like this conference. Then you can think about the Christmas. There are plenty of the events during the year that you can use for the promotion. And you can play also with application updates, sometimes even without adding anything to application, but still your application will be updated and it can be spotted on different type of the list that are monitoring the application that have been updated. It's like a trick, but sometimes it is helpful. And also you should track different types of the rankings that your application is on. So let's start from idea. And here we have like two possibilities. The first one, innovation. You are the first. Your idea have never been implemented or invented by anybody else. And when I listen to something like that, it's very often like a question mark in my head. It means very often that somebody didn't do the homework correctly. So he didn't spend enough time on the market research, finding other products that are providing the same value. Yeah, if you really have that kind of idea, that's perfect. But please double check if you find all possibilities that and all products that are providing the same value or the same product that you are thinking that you are the first. And those being like innovator have a bad and good points. Definitely you are the first one. So you can make a revolution to the market. But together with that, you should think about if the people are ready for our product. Looking, for example, in mobile experience, hamburger menu have been invented like in 60s or 70s and have been like started to be using like 10 years ago. So you can see the huge gap between the idea and the market when hitting the market when it be ready. Because of that, your potential users maybe do not see the possibility of using your application. So you should learn them how you can use this application. It means that you should invest more money for the promotion for those people learning. Every next company that will be developing the same product will have the effort will be easier because you already spent that money for education. And that means that the cost of promotion can be higher. What you should also consider is to protect your idea. You should think about different kind of patenting your idea or doing something that you'll be sure that nobody will copy your solution if it is real innovation. Then the other option, somebody else was faster than us. That's also a good solution because we can do something better. And I followed this path when I was working on Windows phone application. And when when you are in this situation, it's easier. Why? Because you know the market. You can see your competitors. You can see the number of downloads. You can see the comments of the application. Oh, I forget about something the most important. You can download the app and start using it. So you can see what other ideas have your competitors. Then you can try to build application better than other people, than your competitors, but please do not steal the idea. Do not copy application one to one. Just try to be better. And then sometimes you can be successful. Of course, it depends how you hit the market, which type of ideas you will implement on your application. And we did the same with Imcado. We check our competitors. So on the left side, you can see part of our mind map. It has been done in Polish. And we try to find the different ways how people are sharing the photos. Definitely the first thing, like a person trying T, is coming to my head is OneDrive, Dropbox, and something else. Sometimes we are sharing application by Messenger, by WhatsApp. There are also similar applications that we delivered. And what we did, we download each application, try to find the good and bad points about this application, try to figure out how we can be better. Not only we check the features, we check the comments of the users of the application, what is good, what they like, what they don't like. And later, it was very useful for us. We was able to check number of downloads. So we was able to check the size of the market. And also when we can see if application was for free, if we need to buy something there, and it provides us possibility to verify and check different type of business models that the people are using. So we have like a good analysis of the market that we can use in planning, building our application to be successful. Then the next thing, we should try to figure out if we want to have mobile application or mobile application that will be working on tablet and computers. We have tons of possibilities working with that kind of and answering all of this kind of the questions. But please remember that each of this device, I will not focus on the technology because yeah, probably I could talk for hours when I think about the technology. But there are different aspects of the designing the application of those kind of device. Think about laptop or regular PC. We have like a keyboard and mouse. In case of the tablet or mobile phone, we have different size of the screens, and also we don't have these pointing devices. So applications should be designed, and definitely they will be used in a bit different way on those devices. Then there is a part of history. I just skip for the facts, but look at the chart. Right now, we have like two platforms that are like a king on the market. We have iOS and Android. Maybe it will change something in the future. Like in 2009, nobody was planning or nobody was believing that somebody will compete with the Symbian. It was so successful platform. Now we have Android and iOS. We should think if we want to develop application for both platforms, or maybe one. Maybe we would like to build a hybrid application. Also, what are the target audience of our application? Because different type of the users are using different devices. For example, maybe top management staff are using iPhones because they need to have like a prestige when you are talking with other people on the same seniority level. So this is your call. You should know your users, and then you should decide to which platform you should focus on and provide the solution. Earning the money. Everybody was waiting for that probably. When we want to do something, we are changing our time probably very often to money. And we have different options how we can do it in the mobile application. The first one, the easiest one, we can provide application for free. So probably we will not earn money in application at all, but this application can be like a gateway to our systems. Then, for example, it can be like a business card that will show that we have like a normal shop, that we have other services that people can use. For example, different kinds of the shopping, banking application, and so on. On the opposite side, there are paid applications. The model is very simple, like going to the normal shop. Instead of we want to get some kind of application, then we are paying for that the amount of money that somebody was defined. You should remember that different stores will take different type of the fee of the transaction. Is something most very often between 30 and 20%. And in this case, you should always provide a demo version that somebody can download and test how application is working. Then we have something that honestly I don't like. I don't like having ads in application. When you are thinking about adding ads to your app, you should think about specific type of application. This very often, I would say, those applications should be like narcotics, should take a lot of time for you to be able to spend there like hours. This is perfect for gaming, that you are building like a camp. Just need to come back every half hour to your app, and then to do something, you can share some kind of advertisement that is played for 30 seconds. Together with that, we can use something called in-app purchase, and this is the most successful way of earning money on mobile application. From 2017, it is generating like 50% of mobile app revenue. And this means that in your application, you have like a shop, and you can buy directly different type of elements from this shop. For example, when I talk about the gaming, you can buy some kind of add-ins that will help build your camp easier, or subscription, and so on. So there's different options. When you are working on the application, when you decided you have the idea, you decided that you work on the mobile, and you have your business model, then probably you would like to verify that. And first of all, do not trust your family. I probably have a smile on your face, but then why? When you go to your parents, grandma, or the people that are close to you, they will always say that your idea is the best, and you will not get a real feedback about your application. And at this stage that you are starting your mobile adventure, it's good to get information what people are thinking about this feedback. And to do it correctly, you should, from my perspective, I'm doing it quite often. You should prepare it like a mock-ups, like the just sheet of paper with sketch, like some kind of the phone with simple UI that is presenting your application, how it works. And just ask strangers. Go with the paper, ask, this is a login screen. For example, we have Facebook button, Google button, what we are doing. And this person is clicking the button, then you are presenting other sheet of paper that have the application screen and asking what you will do. And you are looking on the reaction of the people, asking what they think about your application, then checking the features. You can ask if they would like to pay for that. And this is when you are looking for the strangers, think about your target audience, the people who will be using your application. And of course, try to later, if you verify that your idea is correct and so there are people that would like to use it, try to think about the business plan and try to do it at least at the beginning very simple. And here's like example. Sometimes I get tons of the emails with information. I have a great idea for applications. I will give you like 50% of shares. I will provide the idea, and you'll develop the application. Yeah, perfect. If you find that kind of developer that is changing his time to the shares, please let me know. I would like to use that kind of the people. This idea was about building Android application that help children to learn better. And there was like the target audience of the children, because it was focused on children between age 13 and 15. So we can check in the statistic that there was like 1 million that kind of children in Poland. And of course, it was focused on Polish market. Then when we checked at the time number of smartphone penetration, it was almost 60%. Then 86% user, it was Android users. So we have the next multiplier. And only at that time, 5% of user was really buying something, was really buying the application or buying the features in the app. If you calculate those numbers together, then you can see that from the 1 million, there will be only 25,000 sold applications. Still, it depends on the price, but it is not so nice like the 1 million before. If we make our application very expensive, let's sell it over 10 zlotys, then we'll earn over 300,000. It's nice. But then 30% will be taken by Google, so almost 100K. Then we should support our country and give some money to our tax office, almost over 40,000. And for us, it will left almost 200,000 Polish zlotys. This number is still nice if thinking about just the money if you have on the table, but we should think about the cost, because right now we're talking only about the profit. So what about development cost? Are you doing the application by yourself only, or maybe you want to somehow hire Android developer? And at the time, the salary was between 8 and 40K for that kind of people. From my experience, it depends on the project. Sometimes building like a mobile application is work for between maybe 3 and 6 months, the group of maybe 2 and 5 people. And of course, it depends on the project size. But you can see that a huge part of this successful application profit will be taken by development costs. Then I didn't mention about the infrastructure. You want definitely to have some backend, some kind of API, database, something that will store the content, the photos, the images. And should the application logic should be in the app, I would recommend it to do it on the backend side, because then it's easier to protect your idea, because it's very easy to just download and copy the mobile application from the store. So this also generates additional cost. Then promotion. I mentioned that it's very important. So you should think about how you'd like to promote the application, do some kind of video, other stuff, or maybe you should think about the promotion like decreasing cost of the application, the price of the application. And then it means that it will also reduce the income. And honestly, I didn't include a lot of different things that you should think about: energy, materials, software licenses, and so on. And the most important thing is your time. This is the only good on the earth that you cannot recover. If you use it, this time even you will have like tons of the gold, you'll not be able right now to buy the time again. So, and we have only one life, so you should think about on which type of activities you want to spend it. The other thing, when you're planning a mobile application, it's maybe, I don't know if we can think about the ethics here, but are we able to buy some users? And maybe it is like a bit controversial question or statement, but think about in a bit different way. If we take into consideration 2 elements, the first one, lifetime value. So this is like statistics that is showing how much money we earn on each user. And the other side, if we calculate cost per installation, so how much money is costing us to acquire the user, and if we compare those 2 values, and if this LTV is higher than cost per installation, it means that we are in the perfect position. It means that you will earn something on your mobile application. And then definitely you should start working on your business and trying to provide the business to be more successful. If the relation is in a opposite way, then you should think about what you should do to either increase the lifetime value, either decrease the cost per installation. Because when cost per installation is higher than lifetime value, you will never ever earn on this application. It will be always cost for you. Then project funding. It's something, oh yeah, this is like a discussion also for hours. And there's different models. But when you are starting working with application, it's very common that you are starting from models named 4Fs. First, you are the founders, so the project is raise the funding by yourself, then your family. Sometimes your family can give you some money. Also, when you're thinking about the founding project by your family, you can think that you are living in the place and nobody is taking any fee of rental fee. Your mom can cook something for you and you can eat that. Then maybe friends and fools. Those people that you're convinced your crazy idea that you're doing something great. And when you are working in the founding, remember about one thing. When you bring in investor to your organization, it's very easy to spend his money because you are spending not yours money. And when you are we are taking investor want to leave your organization and you need to somehow give back the money, or he's like exiting from the solution, then you are always thinking that you're returning your money, not his one. And this is very difficult from psychological aspect. Then when I think about cost reduction, we should think about two things. First one, this MVP that I mentioned before. So we should hit the market, show our application as soon as possible. We should think about the features that will generate the value for our potential customers to be able to verify that, to check the hypothesis that this is really a thing that our users would like to use it. And one thing that I learned doing the applications, definitely when you are publishing your first app, your first version application, you should be shaming of your product. If not, it means that your application is being sent to the market, was waiting to be sent to the market too long. From my perspective, when I presented my first version of Mikado, when we was trying to do it in real life, after one day I said, forget about using that and give me a few more weeks to be able to make it working better. And then think about the idea, we should also think about scalability to be able to, if our hypothesis will be not verified correctly, then we should be able to increase number of users, increase the number of hypotheses by adjusting the application to a different needs, to different group of customers. Then it will be easier to make this application more profitable. And we are like in the 2/3 of the presentation, and we just covered the first point. So we have possibility to start development. Yeah, the easiest part. And I already mentioned that when we are thinking about time, this is something that we cannot recover later. So we should think about if we should outsource or build application by ourselves. And in case of Mikado, when we were building like a backend for that, the management panel, I was asking people from Poland for the quotation, and I get something over 50,000 Polish zlotys per this project. And from my perspective, it was too much, and you have right now different possibilities how you can try to reduce this cost. Finally, we managed to find some person on Rent-A-Coder page, some person from China that built that application for like a few percent of this initial quotation from Poland. So we can see that there's a huge savings. There's a possibility to huge saving when you try to find the people that could provide some kind of work for you on the whole world. Of course, maybe the quality was not best like I probably would get for the money in Poland. I don't know, I didn't do that. But then I get something that was working and I could show this to my users. Then when you are developing something, think about if you should do the whole development by yourself as a code, maybe not as yourself, I mean from the component perspective, so you're building everything from the scratch, or maybe you should buy something that it can not only bring a better value because it is already built, but also it can save some cost. And because of you'll be able to publish the application faster. And also I mentioned before that you should not wait too long with your first release. And when you are releasing, then we should think about testing. And here your family can be first testers. Just give the application and ask, can you find as many errors, as much errors as you can? You should remember during testing, and this is good when you could record, for example, your first users on have built-in statistics that can look on the application user behave to check if your application is self-explaining, because users do not read manual. They were just starting the application and using it. Then, of course, like in the prototype, you can show the application's anonymous users and monitor the behavior of their first impression. And we are on good trajectory to be successful. But then we have like a liftoff, we have a premiere, and the first few days, our application have bigger number of downloads because it is promoted like a new application, new versions. We are boosted in the stores. There's maybe some newspapers that are writing about us. And the first question is, are you monitoring the errors? Because at the early stage, if you are not monitor errors in correct way, you can get a lot of not positive comments and it can stop downloads of your application. Then later, you start thinking why nobody is buying your application. This is the question for you. Are you promoting it correctly? And also, are you listening to your users? Maybe I'm talking about something that is obvious, but here's like examples that professionals have the same problems. This is GLS, and look on the numbers of reviews. They have like average score 2.7. And first thing that is coming to my head is, are they crazy? And if you hit the same problem, what you can do it? From my perspective, for this kind of the problem is the only one solution. We should delete the application from the store and publish it once again. Why? Because if we want to achieve the average score over 4, think about statistics, think about the math. How many 4 or 5 star rating we need to get scoring over the 4? And here it is like almost not possible. So you should think about going in that the way that we should create an update in the app, inform that we'll be changing the application, and provide link to new app in the store. And then we'll just reset the counter. Then we have like application promotion. And this is like a huge topic for discussion. We can think about the people. So plan the features, plan the price, look on the comments. Then different kind of SEO. So app description, graphic elements, writing the downloads count, making application more attractive to our users. We should think about the media, social media promotions, different kinds of rankings, and also news in different portals that is showing our application. When you're thinking about the positioning in the stores, we should have one like nice title, nice short description that will just show the app to our users. We should have a great graphics, maybe with some videos. Think about how you are behaving when you are looking for the application. Are you really reading the full description? From my perspective, almost never. Title and the graphics that are the first thing that I'm checking. Then you can play with the price. And what I mean the playing of the price. When you are thinking about the mobile application, your revenue is like a multiplication in price and number of downloads. If you decrease a bit price and downloads will be higher at that time, maybe your revenue will be higher than when the price was higher. And also it can work in a different way, that making price higher will limit the number of downloads in the small amount that your revenue will be higher. But together with that, when you are playing with the price, you can achieve one more thing. There are different portals that are helping or checking the different type of the promotion of mobile application. And you can see on the left side the chart from 2012 when I was submitting new application to the store. And I wanted to make like a noise about it. And I decreased the price almost to 0. And you can see that I get like 6,000 downloads. And I use these downloads to get like positive reviews in my application. How I did that? I just add the simple feature to app. After third run of the application, the applications show prompt to review it. And this prompt has 2 features. When somebody plays like 4 or 5 stars, then when he hit the submit button, he was redirected to the store. And he can leave the information about 4 or 5 ranking there. When somebody provide the information, the application is not so good, the 3 or less stars, instead of going to the store, I opened the contact page and asked my user what is wrong in the application to get like impression. And with this behavior, we have two things. First thing, you are getting a lot of positive scores in the application. On the other side, you are getting a real feedback of your users, and you can improve the application. So you can use different type of tips and tricks. We are almost at the finish. And last thing, it's very often when you have application in the store, people are coming back with different type of requests for you. Please add something to your application. And the last thing that you should do is grabbing the keyboard and starting to typing the code. Think about that definitely. Instead of opening like IDE, open your Excel and just put this idea there. And try to monitor the number of ideas. If you get a lot of very similar ideas, requests about the same feature, then definitely this is something that you should work on it and implement it in the next application. And one thing at the end, the best way to predict the feature is to create it. So the next time I encourage to you that when you are working on the next release of application, try to think about the process, try to plan it, try to know your users, try to build the features that are really important for your users. And just brief summary, I hope you already know after this presentation that building mobile application is not only software development, not only development, there is a lot of more things that make it more successful. Then it's good if you want to earn some money off your mobile application, you shouldn't think as working the mobile application as an investment. You should think how much money you need to put on the table to build the application. Oh, maybe this is a good hint. We are living in virtual world very often, and for us sometimes it is difficult to imagine the amount of the money. So if you have like a budget, just put the pile of the money on the table, or mark something on the whiteboard that is showing the pile of the money, and just try to decrease it each time when you are using your time or using that money until you see how much money left for your application. And the last thing that I would like to mention is that you will earn money more when you'll be promoting your application than software development. For me, like when I was starting working with application, it was really like a shock. In next application, I changed a bit of this approach. And I would ask for help. If you like this session, if you could open the store, just download the application, of course, rate it 5 stars if you like, and you can, if you have some ideas, some questions to me, some kind of suggestion, please write a minimum email. If you want to get some kind of code, you can also welcome, just write an email and I will provide you the full version of the application. And that's all for today. If you have any questions, I believe Asia have gathered some of them. If you want to contact with me, here are the links.